So I have two questions for everybody. I know I start a lot of these videos with questions, but these are important. And if this video is really echoey, just give me a bit of time, okay? I do have a microphone. Don't yell at me. I have a microphone plugged in. The apartment is just empty. But anyways, the first question is, what do the Jinn do first whenever they start attacking you? What's the first thing that the Jinn or Shaitan do when they start attacking you? And then my second question is, what is the thing that Satan holds to the highest degree? Meaning, what is the temptation? What is the thing that the Jinn do, that the Shaitan do, that Satan holds the most respect for? The answer to the first question is they make you stop praying. The first thing the Jinn do whenever they start messing with you and causing problems in your life is they make you stop praying. They need to stop this before anything else so they can get into your life. Now, the answer to the second question is marriage. They want to destroy a marriage above literally everything else. That's the thing that Satan or Iblis, I don't care what name you want to put on it, that's the thing he holds to the highest degree. Now, that being said, you guys probably know this hadith better than I do, but it's really sticking to me lately, and it comes up quite a bit in conversation in these coaching calls. The hadith where it talks about Satan and how his throne is upon water. There's something to that that's a little weird. But anyways, his throne's upon water, and that's where he sends out the Jinn. And that the first Jinn comes to him and he says, hey, I did such and such. And he responds back to the Jinn like, you did nothing. Then the second one comes to him and says, I broke up a marriage between husband and wife. And then that's the Jinn he holds next to him to the highest levels of their ranking. This is really important because this actually works both ways. And I think people miss one of the ways. It works in one direction, meaning if you are already married, they want to break up your marriage. That's the most important thing to them, as far as I know. There's always room for error, so please just take it kind of with a grain of salt. But as far as I know, them breaking up marriage is the top of their goal. Now that works in another direction. That also means preventing marriage, and I think a lot of people overlook this. Preventing marriage can create the same result as breaking up in a marriage. Because when you're not married and this is something you're craving in life, something that you really want to achieve and accomplish, when you're at that level in life where you've found the career path you want to do, you've got yourself a little bit stable, and now you want to share your life with somebody else, marriage should be your next step. And I think all of us feel that way. So yes, they can prevent marriage, and this is part of their goal. I do believe that it's equal, or at least somewhat equivalent to breaking up a marriage and preventing a marriage. I think both of these do fit. I'm kind of got to drop a bombshell maybe on some of you guys. Yes, there's a woman in my life. For obvious reasons, I don't talk about it, and I haven't talked about it for a long time. Now we're at the point in the relationship and soon to be marriage where the cat's got to come out of the bag. So there is a chunk of this that I fully understand that I haven't been able to talk about because I've been hiding it. So the way I try to explain to everybody as best as possible is there is a true hierarchy system. Whenever it comes to the Jinn, it comes to Satan, it comes to Shaitan. Not all of them are equal. They have a real tier system. We can see that within that hadith I just referenced. Now, another way I get it, some of you guys don't like the Christian doctrine or the Christian information, but there is some things they got correct. And one of the things that kind of represents this is through the Lesser Key of Solomon or some of their more occulty books. I don't recommend reading them. That's not necessary. But it really starts to explain and gives an understanding to this hierarchy system that each of these Jinn, each of these demons have their own purpose and their own set of temptations that they enjoy the most. Now, the greatest thing they can do is just tempt. They're really not as strong as we give them credit for. At times, yes, the temptation can be extremely difficult, but the truth is we can always beat them. They're not unbeatable at all. And the one I spoke about previously, and his temptation is based around romantic temptation. We're going to use the word romantic temptation, and I will trust that all of you guys understand what I'm saying. Now, in these books, it talks about how these Jinn, these demons, run legions, like full legions of them. So that means it's not just them, that there's things working underneath them that go around and cause these temptations. Whenever you start to understand this, you start to understand that the American society is almost designed to prevent marriage. It's almost designed to destroy every marriage possible. It's quite difficult here, but thankfully we have the Quran. We understand the right way and the wrong way to do things. Now, the important part of all this, the reason why I'm rambling about all this is because when we fall to these certain temptations, that can delay the reward. This can delay the thing that we're going for. This can delay the marriage. We have to be more disciplined than that. We cannot be falling to these temptations. And you guys know exactly what I mean. You're scrolling on Instagram, you're seeing this, you're seeing that, you're looking it up on TikTok. I know what happens and I know what's going on. And you have to overcome this before you get married. You can't get married and then expect to have all these habits already corrected. It's not going to work after the fact. You're just going to get married and then still do these things that are disrespectful to your marriage. You're falling towards temptations that destroy marriages, that's going to make your wife or your husband feel insecure. And this is never going to work. This is a system that will never work. So when you're falling to these temptations, you can't expect somebody to come into your life and you have a good marriage or even get married in the first place. These things have to be taken care of first. So I will kind of be more speaking to the men because I don't know the women's side of it. I will never be able to experience that kind of life. But at least I can speak to more of the men directly and tell you the things you need to have in order if you want this to happen. First of all, when we're taught to lower our gaze, it means truly lower our gaze. When you feel these temptations, you have to look away. And I mean actually look away. None of this like side peeking crap that goes on. Like, you need to lower your gaze. You're not supposed to look at women in that manner. And this has to happen first. If you're one of those people that's still doing it, that can't even go to Walmart without finding somebody to check out, you're still falling to temptation. This is something we're not supposed to be doing. We're told to lower our gaze and you're not doing it. These things add up and the jinn can tell. They know that this is happening. They may be the reason for the temptation. They may be for that little whisper that tells you to look. And I'm telling you, this gets really easy. It only takes 21 days to start a habit, 21 days to fix a habit at the same time. And this is something that's taught in addiction research to help people get off of like serious substances. And with Ramadan coming up, this might be a good time to fix these habits. So the first one I'm going to put on that list is lower your gaze. We all know what to do. We all know how to do it. People are just choosing not to. So I'm telling you guys, please just knock it off. It's not a hard thing to fix. It's really not difficult. You just start doing it and it becomes a habit and it becomes really easy. It's like second nature. You're not even going to think about it soon. The second one I'm going to say is you need to be in shape. Like, you need to be physically active. So there's something I try to talk about as much as possible, and it's the 4 things from the group class. One of the individuals in the Thursday groups that I was doing pointed this out to me, and I'm really thankful for it. But the first thing we need for happiness, to feel enlightenment or peaceful in our life, is going to be a creative outlet. The second one is a spiritual outlet. The third one is a social outlet. And the fourth one's a physical outlet. In any order. That's not a direct order. And these 4 things need to be happening in life for you to feel at peace, to feel this enlightenment, to really, really be happy and satisfied in life. So this can be your physical outlet. You need to be doing something physical. And I'm not saying just go to the gym and lift weights. I get it. It's hamster activities. It's not the most fun thing in the world. It sucks sometimes. Some people just genuinely don't enjoy it. But find something you do enjoy. Go do jiu-jitsu or boxing or find a cycle class. I don't care what it is, but you need that physical outlet and you need to get yourself in shape. Now there's a part to that which I'll be touching on more. I'm going to be doing a little bit more like fitness content. Is that when you're exercising, you're celebrating what your body can do. You are celebrating the gift that God gave you. You are showing God that you appreciate the physical health that you were given. And I promise you, if you don't take care of it now, in 30 years, you're going to regret it. The biggest thing that scares me in life, besides God, is regret. And I'm telling you, you gotta start thinking about it this way, because if you don't take care of yourself now, it's going to fall apart later in life and it's going to be miserable. It's going to be terrible. You don't want that kind of pain. All the damage and weight on your joints from being overweight, all the wear and tear on your body is not going to be good in the long run. And it also shows God that you appreciate what you were given. It shows God that you actually appreciate having your health in your body. So you have to focus on your physical health. You need this physical outlet. And the last one I want everybody to focus on, as far as men, with women it's confusing, right? I don't know, I don't understand. Focus on your career. This is getting insane. And when I say your career, I don't mean college. I don't mean the thing your parents told you to do. One thing you guys gotta understand is when you grow up, you have to break up with your parents. And I've seen too many people and have too many friends that followed the path that their parents wanted them to do by going to college and getting this career in something that they hate. And it's a miserable life. And they're now waking up in their 30s thinking, oh crap, I just missed out and I regret my entire 20s because I have 10 years invested in a career that I don't like. This has to align with your self-identity. So say you're somebody who holds charity super high in your identity. You cannot work for a charity where the owner is embezzling all the money. That will melt you inside. And this is what's happening to most people, is they go get a career and their career is involved in something that has conflict and contrast against their self-identity. And it's gonna make you miserable your entire life. You're better off making a little bit less money, doing something that you love and doing something that you enjoy. But we're too scared of disappointing the ones we love. We're too scared of judgment from people on the outside to really do the things we love in life. The reason why this is so big on it, it's not just the financial perspective, because you do need to be financially stable. But living a life that contrasts against your self-identity is going to make your wife or husband miserable at the same time, because you're going to come home every day angry, upset, frustrated, irritable. Every single day, 24/7 of your life, you're going to be feeling these negative emotions towards the way you're providing. And when you get married, it's not as easy to switch your career because your partner relies on that. Your wife relies on that income. So you're not going to be in a position where you're going to want to switch careers. It would be even more difficult then. So if you're not married, that is the better time to target what you want in life and really jump for it. There's nobody that depends on you quite yet. Now, whenever somebody depends on you, that's a different conversation. That's a little bit more situational. But do you really want to do that to the person you love? Do you really want to do that to your wife? Do you really want to work a career that makes you miserable and irritable and grumpy every single day and bring that home to her? It's not a good idea, and it happens in almost every single marriage in America. All these dudes are selling out, taking the easy road. They get married, and then they make their wife just as miserable as they are because they are once again filled with regret. Now, I have to expand on that a little bit more. I was just kind of like going back and rewatching everything. There's a big part of this that I think I did not explain well enough. When you're bringing home that kind of negative energy and frustration every single day, and it causes fights and arguments in the household, the Jinn love it. They love that kind of conflict going on in the household. And it's even so much that that kind of energy is sticky. So this is a little bit more spiritual, so take it as you want. Yell at me in the comments about it, I don't care. But when you even move into a household that had a lot of fights and arguments, like buying a house that is sold during a divorce is a terrible idea. I would never do it. You can if you want, but I'm not going to move into that household. Because those fights and those arguments and the hatred towards two loved ones is sticky. It builds up in that area. And you walking into that is going to cause some problems. It's going to cause some damage. But it's going to be even worse if you're the one doing it. If you're the one causing this friction and tension inside your own marriage, inside your home, that home will become associated with that energy. You guys can look up the vibration frequency scale. Once again, kind of spiritually, but it's okay. If you don't like it, then that's okay with me too. But at the top of the frequency chart, they say enlightenment. Now, personally, I don't really like the word enlightenment. The spiritual side has kind of overused it, and it's like not being used for what it was intended for. But we'll say like peace plus happiness is at the top. And all the way at the bottom is regret and shame. So regret is at the lowest, and we've measured our bodies for this. If regret is at the absolute lowest, then that is the thing we should try to avoid the most. And if you are regretting your career choice and you are married and you're 15 years into your marriage and this regret starts to grow and build, it's going to affect your partner. So whenever I'm telling you guys to really decide what you want to do in life and be ready to jump in with both feet, really take a hard look. Like, are you in the career path that really aligns with your self-identity? Because you don't want to do that. You do not want to wake up with regret. You do not want to wake up sharing this regret with your partner and bringing down the one you love the most. The Jinn will see this. They will become attracted to it, and they are going to press it until your marriage falls apart, or at least they will try to. Now, all that being said, I have this theory, and this is kind of good news, but I'm open up front about this. This is a theory. I'm looking into it more and more. I will discover things that are relevant to this. But my theory is that we're tested on certain subjects, and that whenever we overcome these tests, we are rewarded in a subject that is relevant to the test, right? So a romantic temptation, say there is a succubus that comes into your life and is extremely tempting and extremely alluring. And say you're a single man and you're really searching for a wife at this time, and this succubus shows up and really tries to tempt you into things that you know is not allowed. Well, if you deny the succubus and you do the right thing and you walk away, I firmly believe this is whenever your loved one will show up in your life. And I'm saying this out of experience. I've used this reference a few times, and every time I've used it, it's been personal. It was at the moment where I really put my foot down and did not fall into any kind of romantic temptations. That's whenever I became a man that was ready for marriage. And then after I became ready, that's when she showed up. And I firmly believe if I did not continue to do the right thing, and if I had fallen to any of these temptations, I do believe it would have never happened. That I would not be with the person I'm with today. It never would have happened. I really believe that. So that is good news, not bad news. And I do believe if we continue to fight these tests and we continue to do the right things, we are going to be rewarded for doing the right thing. When you look across life, there's no road in life where you are disciplined for doing the right thing. And you could argue some pessimistic view about financially or this reason or that reason. I don't care. The only time doing the right thing hurts you is in the short run, but never in the long term. Add a little bit of delayed gratification, delayed satisfaction, and it always works out in the long run. And doing the wrong thing never works out in the long run. This yapping session again, I know this is kind of a simpler one. I didn't really go into the deepest detail and everything, but I got to go buy a rug and get something in here so I don't sound like I'm in the middle of a hallway. But thank you. I appreciate you guys, and that's all for now.